Hey folks, Scott Grove here with another request for some lessons. I had requested to do an entire Chuck Berry series. Will I get around to it? Probably at some point. It is very low on my to-do list, even though that has been requested for about 5 years. Why is it low? Because you can go anywhere on YouTube and anybody and their dog, especially from home like I do these, teaches this kind of thing. Okay, so everybody will give it to you. Marty Schwartz, he always does a great job, at it. So you can always get great stuff from Marty. If you want the pinnacle, other than Chuck coming to your house and teaching you how to play it, the absolute 100 foremost guy to just go buy his video of is Steve Travato. I've been, ripping him off for decades and decades. So Steve Travato, T-R-A-V-A-T-O. He studies this stuff inside out and knows it as good as Chuck. So there's lots of good free ones, and I'm going to do my variations of them also. And like I said, Marty's are very good. So grab everybody, support everybody, everybody teach each other, and it's just music, man, share it. So anyway, today, since I personally don't have or believe that I will ever have any hollow body guitars other than acoustic guitars, I'll do the semi-hollow body things like this, but I'm just not into the other things. What we have here, just since I like to tell quick histories, this is the Fender TC90, which from 2004 through 2007 remained just in the antique white and a dark cherry, actually a dark black cherry sunburst. Okay, so in 2007 these became different, with the 4 knobs and the switch and everything, just switched them up. But they did like 700 of these in this color, 700 in the black cherry, and so from 2004 through 2007 over there in Korea. It says it somewhere on the guitar, maybe back here. Again, superb guitars. But then they changed it to the JA90 in 2007 after they added 2 more knobs, and it became the Jim Atkins from Jimmy Eat World signature model. So if you think that's what it was, you're close. So it is the TC90 right here. What TC stands for? Telecaster. Okay, and then it became the JA90 with the Jim Atkins thing. So this is my only thing. So you got a ash body, semi-hollow, just hollow enough right here just to do this. The body is not actually hollow, it's just hollow enough to get the F-hole, make it look like that. Then it becomes extremely solid within about ½ an inch inside there. Okay? Then everything else is just solid ash. It's a set neck, it is not neck through, and it's a maple neck. Okay? So let's get down here, get ready to do some... What the chuck is that? That's right. I have to come up with something dirty for everything. Why? Because I'm Scott. Okay. So what we're going to do is what everybody that seems to do is cram everything in the key of A. And why is that so damn sacrilegious? Because when you get to the typical Johnny B. Good, which is of course what I'm going to kind of concentrate or loosely base everything on. Talk about my sister again, loosely. Sorry, Robin, didn't mean that. She's going to kick my ass someday if I get back home to Indiana. And because Chuck Berry did not play Johnny B. Good in the key of A, it was in B flat. And no, people back in the day, they did not use capos, or for you overseas, the capo. No, so those were not used. People just flippin' played in B flat. Why? Because that's where they sang it, so they played it there. So it was up here in B flat. Okay, so if you played in B flat, you played in B flat. But of course we're going to do it in A just to make it easy. Why am I going to make it easy? Because right now I believe that students of guitar should be just that. Students learning the easy stuff. Once you get past the easy stuff, I firmly believe in the mama bird kicking the ass of the baby bird and booting it out of the tree right onto the ground and make it, bump its butt a few times and let it go off and fly on its own. I think that I know but I think that all guitar teachers should kick their damn students out the door at a certain point and make them just go learn on their own, because that's where you're going to learn the most, is when you're out there. You know, you don't have to put your needle back on your record player like we used to have to do back in the day, but you're going to learn more on your own after you get a head full of licks, you know, free here on YouTube. You guys got it pretty easy these days. You know, of course, we all walk back and forth uphill in the snow to and from school, 300 miles each way every day. But you will learn more and retain more if you figure it out on your own. Okay, so that being said, I'll shut up and show you how to play the easy stuff. And I recommend you try to learn something on your own every now and then. It will be so much more rewarding than this. Okay, so for about an hour, I guess we'll sit here and kind of do this. Some of my lessons are short, some are long. I actually don't know how long it'll be, so it'll be about an hour, because that's as long as, yes, I still use cameras that have tape in them. Why? Because I have my good digital cameras here, and I just flat out don't like it. You know, here's a nice little small high def camera, and I don't like it. I just love this old analog tape stuff. Okay, so I'm a geezer, and I'll shut up and I'll play like one. Okay, so let's get some good old Chuck Berry stuff. Okay, in the key of A, and just as Marty does, I'm going to show you the A minor pentatonic scale. Very easy if you don't know it, and he actually shows this right at the beginning of his also, so it must be true if Marty says it's true. And you can pretty much take that to the bank. The guy's a great teacher. Okay, so we're going up to A on your high E string. Okay, up to the 5th fret. Now what we're going to do is strictly the A minor pentatonic, and that is just going up to the 7th fret. I'm sorry, the 8th fret. Kick me, Marty. Okay, 8th fret. Back to 5th. 8th fret and 5th fret on the B. Now 7, 5 on G. Then you finally stop on the 7 on the D string. That gives you your A. So if you want to carry it on down, that is 7, 5 on the D string, 7, 5 on the A, then 8, 5 on the low E. So the whole thing. Okay, and also as pointed out by Marty, yes, I watched a few people's before I started doing this just to make sure I didn't leave much of anything out, because I planned on going over 5 minutes. So I want to make sure there's plenty of material here for y'all. So I did my homework. And like I said, you know, you grab what you have to from other people, and my memory is less than perfect, because I'm a victim of the 60s. Yeah, I was born in the 60s, but then again I was conceived in the 60s when the parents were doing a lot of drugs. So therefore, my head's screwed up via proxy. It's a contact high. Okay? I know, that's what's wrong with me. Crack baby. They didn't have crack back then. Okay. The other things that are also pointed out, again via Marty, are just the strict, simple, little 2 notes that are added into the minor pentatonic scale. So you have 8, 7, 5, same thing on B, 8, 7, 5, then all the rest of the thing. Okay. Okay, so. Oh. Okay, so that's it. And you can do the same thing here. If you want to scoot up to the A, you can do that, which is on the A, which is 7th fret on your D, 7. So you go 10, 9, 7 in order to get your minor harmonic, or your minor pentatonic, I'm sorry. Then 10, 9, 7 on your A, and then 8, 7, 5 on your low E string. Okay, so the first one, or you can go these are for filling in your licks. Of course, we'll get to the typical and all the stuff here in just a second, but just with a backing track, just so you can see how you can noodle around within everything. Say for playing. Now you can do this stuff. Okay, so that's what you have. It just shows you that you can noodle around using that A minor pentatonic scale. Okay, so beyond that, let's get some fun. We have to get in the different variations that everybody has bastardized over the years of the beginning to Johnny B. Good and what was basically the whole root of rock and roll back then was Chuck's style of playing, and everybody copied Chuck. Why? Because he knew what the Chuck he was doing. And via Steve Trovato, I'll show you the real way that Chuck actually played, which a lot of people probably don't know, but then again I didn't know either until I checked out his version of what he does. And why I know it's correct is because that guy sits around and studies people. I mean, literally sits in front of the camera and studies each and every lick they've played for months and months and months, and then films this stuff over weeks and weeks and weeks to get everything exactly the way it was actually done, instead of cheap-ass variations like mine will be today. But then again, this is to not impress or depress anybody with how accurate it is. This is just to get you that vibe, and because nobody wants to go off and be a Chuck Berry impersonator, I hope not, but you have to have the licks there. You're gonna play this song the rest of your life. Everybody does. So you might as well have it close, but then again, throw in as much of your own flavor as you can. I mean, everybody out there, after they get done, whatever they want to do. So you get the major licks, or the minor pentatonic licks, as it might be. Okay, so to get the first wrong version of this, let's do this. These are going to be called double stops that we are injecting here. For those of you who already know what the hell this is, you can speed the tape up, or I can speed the tape up. You can speed up your YouTube. Just click the taskbar down at the bottom and speed ahead. Okay, so just that simple little intro. Okay, that's not the real intro, but that's what most people use. Okay, and that is using on the 7th fret of the D string, 5th fret on the G, 7th on the G. Okay. Okay, our double stop, meaning nothing more than 2 strings played at the same time. We are covering, okay, covering up the E and the B string, going from the 4th fret, okay, sliding it up from the 4th to the 5th. You're getting 5 total notes. 1, 2, you're not picking it the second time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. Okay, so, hell, there might be 6 there. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There is 6. I never watched Sesame Street, so I can't count. So, okay, so after, so you've hit it actually 5 times once you land on home base. How's that? I'll pretend like I meant to say that. Okay, let's put in the full double stops. Okay, those are just simply flatten out your finger, your ring finger on the 7th fret, on the B and G string. Same thing with your first finger on the 5th fret. A lot of people would just go to the open A string and the 7th fret on the A, or 7th fret on the D string, which is another A. Okay? Or depending on what they want. Some people actually throw in the third, which is kind of iffy, but listen to it with the third, meaning when you have that finger down on the A note, 7th fret D string, adding in with your middle finger on the 6th fret of the G string. Okay, so you'd end up with, okay, so you can or can't do that, whatever you want. It doesn't matter. It's all just suggestions, okay? Okay, so this is a bunch of repetition stuff, but that's what it was all about. Okay, so let's get kind of what's going on there. I'm just going to stop on the one A note. Okay, so that is one way of doing it. Listen again and just simply follow along. I don't have to count all these out for you. Okay, now some people will do that. Actually grab all 3 strings, starting from your G string at the 7th fret, but still keeping the 5th frets covered on your E and B. And bending the G string only up a whole step, meaning 2 frets. So up to the E note, which is also fretted here already. So you'll know when it's in tune when it becomes the same as what's going on your B string. Okay, then you do what is called a staccato note. So you cut off the note. How am I cutting them off? Muting with this part of your hand back here by the bridge. Just touches your strings. Yes, we're going to get to all that. Okay, so that is the basic first intro I'm going to show you. Okay, so we'll get into that also. But this does not matter what chords are going on underneath you. Even though the band will be playing in A and D, back to A, up to E, I will show you with this that I can stay strictly in that A thing and not have to change. That's what's the beauty about this kind of music. Okay. So you can see that you don't have to go chord chasing. The best thing to do is be monotonous, be everything, and be flat if you want to be right. But we're back to A. Okay. Oh God, I slimy. Okay, so again, use variations. Keep sliding up. Do as much of that as you want. Okay, some people do it that way. Okay, so that's just sliding up a whole bunch of times. And then they do the same thing I showed you earlier if you want to add the third. So the A here on the 9th fret, I'm sorry, 7th fret on your D string. Then adding in the third of the chord, not the 3rd fret. This is actually the 6th fret, but the 3rd of your scale. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you got then back to. Okay, I'm going to skip all over the place because these are just parts. You put the parts together to make whatever the hell intro you want and whatever solos you want. The other little thing I just showed you, or that you heard, okay, that is simply going to the 8th fret on the high E, ring finger, and the 7th fret of the B, while you still have your 5th fret on both of them with one finger. So you have the double stop, meaning 2 notes, bend it up, so hit it once, bend it up, let it come back down. That's the only time you've hit it, one time. And then back to your 5th fret double stop. Okay, that one, 7th fret, which we did before, covering just 7th fret B and G string, bend it towards the floor. Both of them. Now we're bending towards the floor on the 5th fret, same thing, double stops. What happens is your G string bends farther than your B string does, so it actually pulls in tune to that 3rd. Okay, so your B string barely bends, but your G string bends a whole lot more, so it does a pseudo in tune sounding thing. So as much of this as you want to do, or as little of it, the more monotonous, the more better it be. Okay? So do as much of this or as little of each one as you want. It doesn't make any difference. I'm not giving you any one particular way. I'm giving you all the ways. What was I doing there? To go to the E finally? The same thing I was doing making the A. Just put it all up one string. And then back to A. Okay, so those are a few different ways. There are others, but let's take it from the beginning. I lost track, of course, earlier, so they count it kind of funky. 5, 6, 7. Okay, so that's kind of one way to do it. If you want to change it up, change it up. Okay, here's barely changing it up. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so they all sound right. Why? Because they are all right. You can play whatever you want, and then in addition, if you keep playing around with that, when it comes time for the second time that the whole song starts over, or you call it the guitar break, it does it 4 or 5 times in this particular song, or any given song that is a 12-bar blues like this. Then you go back to that A minor pentatonic scale. And put that stuff into with it. So I'll do a intro, or an intro. God, I hate getting my English screwed up. Enough of that's going on in this country. So I will try to get my intros right. So anytime, folks, that you are using a word that starts with a vowel preceding it, and you use the word a, you automatically add an N to it. So you would say, you would add an A chord to it, or add an E chord to it, but you would not add an cheese to it. Okay, if it begins with a consonant, you leave it as the word A. Okay, so learn your English, people. Okay? Okay, so I'm going to do the double stops, the bends, and now throw in the A minor pentatonic scales around it just for demonstration purposes. Okay, just to show you how they fit. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so there you get a little bit cooler. Figaro, Figaro, alfalfa from, if you guys remember the Little Rascals or our gang. Figaro, Figaro. Okay, so that applies also. So you get to mix them all together. Okay, let's do some other fun things. Again, there is no structure to this lesson at all. This is a freebie. So I make it up on the fly. White guy. I'm too fly for a white guy. Anyway, another cool thing to do is this, A7, okay, which normally, well, I won't even say normally, I'll just show you the damn thing. Let's go up and grab the E note or the 9th fret on your G string. Your normal A would be at the 10th fret of the B string, correct? Okay, now we need the 7th of that, okay? Not the major 7th, but all the way back to the flatted 7th. The best way to play this is going to be with your ring finger up there on that 9th fret, and then your middle finger on the 8th fret on the B string. Okay, so you're sliding up into it. Okay, this is a cool thing. What makes this cool? Because it is damn cool. Okay, so you get the... If you want to change it around, use your middle finger and your first finger. I don't care. If you do it that way, you can add the A note to it. Okay, what? Okay, that's just chromatically, which means 1 fret at a time, going down. Okay, so that's just going. Okay, so that gives you, you know, your humorous sounding thing, so like somebody laughing. Okay, so that is that thing. Yeah, that's that thing I showed you earlier on 7 and 6. Okay, so you get... Okay, so that's one of those things. Or you can finish it up if you are using your middle finger and your first finger by taking, not putting that on the A, but actually putting it on the D flat or C sharp, which is the 9th fret on your high E string. But then if you finish it out, you have to change it up and get on the root note. 5th fret. Okay, so if you're doing that whole thing. Again, for the slow learners. The people on the short bus. Okay, so it's a cool way to do things. Okay, so you can see how you can use it. Be monotonous, kind of like my voice, where it's kind of like Fran Drescher, and it all gets up in your crawl and just drives you nuts sometimes, try being me for a day. I know you don't want that. I don't wish it upon anybody. Drink it if you got it, folks. Iced tea time. Okay. So grab those. Those are just more variations of the same type of licks that were used back then. Now here is a fact. The whole was not used on Johnny B. Good by Chuck Berry. You're like, say what? You're like, nigga please. No, it was not. And what was actually used, you can watch any video, is the same thing. All the bends are down. Even the you know, when you play it fast, it don't look like anything, but it does not go. It does not bend up. Chuck does not up Chuck. Chuck goes down. I know, strange for a black guy. Ooh, I'm going to get letters for that. Black guys don't go down. Okay, so send your emails to, let's give them to Marty Schwartz. Why not? Sorry, Marty. Okay, anyway, so if you want to be correct for whatever reason, but there is a reason, because there is a different sound there, okay? Because when you're doing this, you get that sound, but when you do, it's a different sound instead of, okay, let me get my fingers to work, and that's one way. Is the actual way that Chuck plays. Okay, so while we and Ace Frehley and everybody who has capitalized on this kind of playing, Angus Young, that's the way it's really, truly, originally played by Chuck, is. Okay, so it does not go up. Do you have to get rid of your first finger to do that? No. So whatever works for you. But just to know, for history's sake, that it was actually that all the bends were down. People started bending upward later. Okay? It became cool to stuff, you know, much later. But the bends were all done down towards the floor. These people back then, all they had were wound G strings, so it was hard to bend. You know, there weren't real light guitar strings back then. So that's why you'll see when a lot of the bridges back then had fixed bridges on them, that they were the G string, instead of it being the saddles being back here, they were fixed bridges, and they would actually be going back, and then all of a sudden the G string would be way up here. That's because a wound string on a G string would have to actually, to be intonated correctly, would actually have to be way up this way instead of 3 down like a staircase and 3 down again like we're used to. Okay, so if you ever see the old guitars that have the stop tailpiece, just a wraparound bridge, it looks like this, strings go around it, and it has the built-in saddles. That's why the G string is way up here, and if you do not put a wound G string on there, your guitar will not be able to play in tune, period. Okay, so remember that when you're buying vintage guitars. And you look at some of the old ones with, especially like the wooden bridges and so forth, that's why they are the way they are. You'll see Takamine acoustics a lot of the time with the the piezo pickup in them. They have one part of the bone. This guitar shows that the Martin is incorrect. I know, I'm taking away from the lesson, so it's free. So these are incorrect and don't do you much good. Yeah, so you spend a few thousand on a guitar that don't work with the shit, but hey, that's Martin for you. But anyway, Takamine, their pickups would be 2 pickups in there. They actually slanted the E and B going back like it should be, but then the next 4 would be on a totally separate saddle here. and allow the G string to be at the foremost front of that slant, because they understood that acoustic strings, the G would be wound. Okay, so just for a lot of you guys out there playing 335s and any kind of Gibson ES model or any hollow body guitar things, that's what's going on if you're trying to use strings that are unwound for your G string. And that's why it sounds out of tune, because they were meant to have a wound string on there. Okay, so in case you just wondered, that's a little fact for you. So there are replacement bridges to put on there for now if you want to use regular strings, and then keep the original, of course, to keep all the value of your guitar there, and keep it in the guitar's case for later when you do by chance happen to sell your guitar. So if you want to use regular strings, get the replacement bridge saddles for it that will handle the strings that are easier to bend, the lighter gauge strings. Okay, so enough of that. So we were up here. Okay, how do we utilize that? The A7. You can do it however you want. I'll show you the whole thing. So you see what's going on. Okay, so all we did there, I was just not doing the double stops. I was hitting the G string while we were back here. After you've already made the slide, then hit the B string, then adding the A note. Then we go to D, back to A. Now when we go to E, you just got to move the A note back, so now we actually have like an E right here. And then D, A, then E. Okay, now another little thing, a la Marty Schwartz again, that he will show you on his 5-minute clip, will be just the regular staccato A notes, okay, which will be your 5th fret again, high E string. Okay, he likes to use his pinky, I use my ring finger, you guys use whatever fingers make her feel good. Okay, that is simply going from the A note here all the way up to the A note on the B string, which is your 10th fret on your B string. Okay, so it's the same note. Okay, it's best to start from back here at the 8th fret, slide to the 10th. Okay, so that's all you're doing. And when you do it fast, okay, so you'll hear that a lot of time on Chuck stuff too. Okay, so that's one of those. And where else can we go? Oh yeah. Okay, that there is one that a lot of people miss. Chuck did this one a lot. Show you it in context so you kind of hear it. So it doesn't matter whether you're using it over top of E, or A, or all the way through. Again, it's one of those monotonous licks that you can get away with and everything. Generally, Chuck used it over the E, but as you could hear there, you can play it everywhere, here, there, and everywhere. This is done by the high E string at the 12th fret, making it an E, making it an E. Okay? So you can do 12th fret, E, 13th fret, B, as it's ringing. So you're only bending up half a step. This one was actually bent upward. You bend it down, you're going to crash into your E string. And then you can end up finally on the A, which is just at the 14th fret on your G string. Okay, when you're playing E, that's your cool sound there. Okay? Otherwise you have to be. Okay, so that makes it E6 by doing that, which is, of course, musically correct. But having it here is no good. You have to bend it up somewhere. Gives you that old 50s. Well, actually, by the time you got to 6th chords, it became kind of 60s. Okay, so that's just a whole other thing. If you want to do that, just because we're here, make an F looking chord, but make an Fing chord, play an E for now. Add your pinky all the way up here. That's right, just to the 14th fret for that same note on the B string. Play one note, go back, next note, next note, next note. Okay, so, but try to let them all ring. Cool stuff. Free lesson. Okay, anyway, so that is the other cool thing. And I'll show you here where they would normally put it in just over the E. That little thing is kind of cool, and everybody should know it, and you should get this on your own. This is playing 7/5/7 as a pull-off hammer-on your D string. Pull-off, hammered on, and then we're bending towards the floor again, just the 5th fret on your G and B strings. Trying to get that, but do it so quick that you don't hear it. Okay, was this used by Chuck? No. This is just that kind of thing, though, that can sound really cool and bring it up to Brian Setzer's time from the Stray Cats and from the Brian Setzer Orchestra. Coming to a theater near you. Pee Wee Herman, coming in a theater near you. Okay, old joke. Have you heard about Pee Wee Herman's new dry cleaning service? It's a really nice place. You ought to go there sometime and drop your pants and jacket off. That's right. Okay. Where's my rim job? I mean my rim shop. Come on. Doc Severinsen, everybody back there in the band. Come on. Tommy Newsom. Okay. We need Buddy Rich on the drums. He'll give me a rim job. Oh, wait, he's dead. Never mind. Anyway, so what the hell do they keep putting in my tea that makes me talk the way I do? I don't know. Now that's one thing Marty wouldn't do. talk like me. Again, though, if you, for some reason, have been hiding under a rock, go check out Marty's lessons, man. He's got a buttload of free stuff. Marty Schwartz. Tons of free stuff on eBay. Always has, always will. Good-hearted guy, good, clean guy to listen to. He won't ever cuss at you, you know, like I fucking would. So he's good for all ages. So here we keep going with this. So that is just another bit of information to stick in there. Okay, and what I did was added in the 7th fret too, up to the 8th fret. Okay, that's another good one. Cover all 3 strings. Cover all 3 strings. Hit the B and E. Now hit the G and B. Then the E and B. Okay, so it makes sense. Okay, so you've seen how that. Give that thing some wiggle, man. Make her giggle. Okay, and now the other fun elements here that we can also use. Are the simple simultaneous bends. Simple Simon says, okay, these were not used by Chuck, but they are very handy for the good of the whole. Here I go. Yep. As long as it's for the good of the whole, you better be doing it. Until you get married, then you can quit just like she quits doing everything she did to you. Okay. Shit, I need a new job. Or maybe I need a job doing comedy. I'm telling you. I get all 6 people a week in my club. Okay. These are the simple... Okay, no, but the same minor pentatonic scale going up, but doing... That's right, we're heading to a different decade, because we're bending up. Okay, so 5th fret and 8th fret on the B string. Bend up the B string till it is in unison, meaning the exactly same note as your A note. And since we do... That's what you're going to do with your first finger. And guess what? These fingers follow along with it. Okay, and these, in the context of a 50s style song, will get you the reaction that Michael J. Fox got during the prom scene of Back to the Future 1. Okay, when he finally kicks the amp over his feeding back, and your kids are going to love it. But it's great in these kind of songs, and I will demonstrate if you don't overdo it and make it sound too Yngwie Malmsteen on them. So the same minor pentatonic scale. Okay. All the way up. So 5, 7, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, and 17. Okay. And it just adds fun to the song. And okay, let's let the band do their thing around one time. as I would like it to be, of course. Okay, so back in the 50s they were developing, you would have heard it on Rock Around the Clock, Bill Haley. Watch Happy Days. Okay, so just a bunch of the what's called butterfly picking. Okay. I can't get both my hands to operate together right now, but that's okay. You see what I'm talking about. But that was big back then. Just a slight tube style overdrive on your amp like I got here. And do the typical scale. You can throw in a lot more chromatic stuff. To make it go by really fast. Okay, so you slop it in and it sounds cool. So basically those are our different variations of the Chuck stuff that I am going to throw at you for today for free, of course. And you can always go to my website, which is listed in the link directly below this video, and pick up tons of free lessons. All you got to do is simply go to the site. On the left hand side there's a whole menu of the lessons you can buy, or just go to a place that says flea? Yeah, we'll do some flea stuff. Sailing the seas of cheese. Let's do that. Okay, anyway, free lesson clips over there on the left hand side, halfway down the menu. Of course, all the paid stuff is first, but where it says free lesson clips, go there. There are hour-long videos. There are 5-minute-long videos. There are videos for every instrument on there. So there's tons. You could spend a few days in there and not, get them all. Okay, so there's plenty of stuff there. So once again, Scott Grove, I'll just call it a day because it's night. And once again, the cool, love this thing. Even though I'm not a huge fan of the Seymour Duncans, they actually sound pretty decent in the TC90, which is this version, which I like quite a bit actually. It's a great blues guitar. And once again, this is Fender via Korea, which is my second favorite Fender place other than Japan. So it goes like Fender Japan, Fender Korea, then Fender USA, then on down the food chain. USA right now is pretty comparable to Mexico. They're a couple miles apart anyway, so they're the same flipping place, but you pay the extra money because you do. You pay it for that little decal that says Made in USA instead of Made in Mexico. Anyway, so check out the guitars too, and if you can find them, there's a couple that pop on eBay now that there are not the JA90 versions. So again, 2004 through 2007, the Fender TC Telecaster 90, which is one volume, one tone, and that's it. And then the different versions of the Duncan P90s in there. Very cool guitar. I wish I could have more time to actually play guitar. And also again, check out Marty and all the other guys who offer free lessons all over YouTube and many other sites. A lot of us do this for a living. I do this for a living now. As a lot of you know, I played the road thing, was on a tour bus for 25 years and did that, and for since I was 13 years old, playing 5-6 nights a week in nightclubs throughout my entire high school. And then after you finally have your career's done, then what else can you do? You sit around and teach, man. It's like it's the only way you can still enjoy things. I really don't want to get out and play anymore. It's I don't play well with others anymore. I don't take bullshit from anybody, so it's better if I do not personally interact with other band members and their hang-ups too. I've got enough hang-ups on my own. So when you get a whole bunch of people in a band, you've seen VH1 Behind the Music, you know, shit happens and you all kill each other and unless the plane crashes first. Okay, so anyway, I'll shut up. So anyway, thanks to, again, Marty and everybody else who teaches online. It's a big community. There's enough internet for everybody. So check out all the other people. Don't just hang with me. I'm here. This is a small part of what's available to you. And as I said earlier in the video, please go grab as much beginner stuff and intermediate stuff as you can. But at some point, wean yourself off the tit. Okay? I know nobody wants to give up a tit. But, you know, it goes dry eventually. And you will get a lot more out of learning things on your own because you'll have enough crap in your library and in your head to be able to hear what's going on, and it will be much more rewarding to you. Okay, so keep chucking up your stuff and up chucking your licks, and I'm the Chuck out of here. Take care. Bye.